Good morning. Happy Monday. Everybody have a spectacular weekend? List and sell a whole lot of houses? I'm loving that. It was a great weekend to do just that. So happy Monday. Happy last week of September. Can you believe the end of this week is already October of 2021? It seems to me like we just were discussing how crazy it was that 2020 was coming to an end. And now 2021 is rocking and rolling towards that finish line. Isn't that right? My goodness. Hey, and don't forget that as far as your business is concerned, it's like 3 days after Christmas, right? Everyone recognizes that. You're really at that end of the road type spot where riding business, you probably have another couple of weeks if you have shorter closings. But remember that the fourth quarter starts on Friday, which means we're really starting to look at building and closing business into the first quarter of next year. So more on that a little later in the week. Excuse me. So a couple of quick announcements for you today. From a calendar perspective, man, we've got a whole lot of things to share with you this morning. So grab your phone, grab your pen, grab your whatever, because you want to make sure you have these dates in your calendar. Starting with tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, we have our social equity workshop. Hey, Marissa, could you do me a favor and just jump on real quick and make sure that we all know why that's so important for us to be on tomorrow?
Yeah, so I was reading some interesting statistics last night. And did you know that by 2040, white home ownership is actually expected to decline? Meanwhile, the number of Black renters is only going to grow, and Spanish home ownership is actually on the rise. So there's these insane dynamics happening right now, just in regards to home ownership, that are clearly going to be affecting us and our business. So on Tuesday, that's one of the conversations I want to have is, how are we helping these people in a system that's clearly geared towards benefiting white families, right? How are we connecting with them, and how are we as a market center prepared to handle this new type of business and bring these new home buyers to the table?
Love it. And that's 11 o'clock tomorrow, right here in this Zoom room, yes?
Yes.
Very good. Anything anybody needs to bring besides their open mind and enthusiasm to learn?
Please definitely bring an open mind, enthusiasm to learn, a kind heart, and a gentle tongue. And there is a workbook that should be going out. I believe it's going to be an email blast to the whole market center. So if you are interested in coming to that workshop, please find that PDF and just have it ready for the 11 o'clock call.
Sounds perfect. We'll make sure that if it hasn't gone out, it'll go out again today. If it has gone out, we'll make sure it goes out again today, so it's right at the top of your email. So thank you so much, Marissa, for building that for us. Really important to understand how demographics and the future of home ownership in this country is going to start to affect you and your business, as well as create some different perspectives, since perspective is kind of where we're headed today. Some different perspective for many of us in terms of exactly where home ownership lies, and how we can use that not just to become better business people, but to become better citizens of this country and better humans all around. So again, thank you, Marissa, for your hard work on that. We'll see you tomorrow at 11. This Thursday, you guys may have seen an email that you got from KWRI. This Thursday, Gary and Mo are doing a quick kind of last minute fundraiser for the KW associates affected by the hurricane down in, what was that, Hurricane Ida, I think that was, down in Louisiana. And that is this Thursday, the 30th, from 10 until 6. It's a program called 100X Your Business. And it will feature Gary and Mo talking about business building and wealth building. It'll feature people like Nick Waldner and other mega agents from across the country on certain aspects of how they've gone and really exponentially increased their business by doing certain things. So it's almost like a little mini mega camp day. The cost to attend that is a $15 donation to help your fellow KW agents down in Louisiana. I'm really excited to be able to plug into that. Again, it's an all-day thing. So if you can't plug into the entire day, send your $15 in, get your registration, and plug in for 2 hours in the morning and an hour later in the day, right? No biggie if you're not there to sit the whole day. But wow, what a spectacular opportunity for an amazing cause. Donna, do you have some more on that for us?
I do. So we just did a little mastermind script practice on that. It's an amazing opportunity to also invite co-brokes. Invite co-brokes. It's $15, even if you sponsor them. You know, it's a great way, or any small business owners that you know, your vendors. We can really fill the coffers for KW plus give back.
Love that. Great idea. Great idea. So get busy on that today. And again, that's this Thursday, the 30th from 10 until 6. I'll also blast out the registration link on that again later this morning. The region is creating like a regional mega camp day, another kind of day to fill your brain and get some great ideas with top agents from the region. That is on October the 14th. So that's 2 Thursdays from this Thursday. So about 17 or so days from today. On October 14th. I don't yet have the times for that. There will be a national guest speaker on that. We have Chris Suarez also coming in, plus a lot of top agents from not just, not across the country necessarily, but from our region, as well as some of your colleagues from our market centers who are going to be featured on that day. So watch for more information on that, but that is the 14th of October. There is no cost to attend that. The market centers are underwriting all of that production for the region. So do plan on attending with us that day. And then I'm really excited to tell you that this year's business planning clinic, which we usually do locally, we are going to do slightly differently. And we're going to utilize the one and the only Gene Rivers. And for those of you who don't know Gene, Gene's a mega agent and market center owner from down in Florida. He's the original master faculty member for Keller Williams University, and an overall awesome guy. There's nobody who kind of just tells you like it is, like Gene Rivers. There's no sugarcoating. It is what it is with Gene, and he just kind of tells you how it is. He is going to be doing a 2-afternoon business planning clinic that we are going to jump in on. There is no cost to you to attend that, just your time. That is the 20th and 21st of October, the 20th and 21st of October from 1 until 5, each of those 2 days. I believe those are the correct times, right? So, so watch for more information on that. If any one of you is interested in being in the live actual be able to speak to Gene and ask questions version of that, I have one opportunity for one of you to sit in on that. Everyone else is going to be on webinar mode. However, I do have an opportunity for a small group of you to be kind of that live studio audience, if you will, on Zoom with Gene for that. Looks like Jody's raising her hand, so she might be first. Jody, if that's what that hand was for, just text me and I'll get you in. So watch for more information on that. Lastly, we wanted to just let you know that we have a great opportunity that we're cooking up for you this week that will launch next week and go throughout all of October. And it is a market center driven for you and your database sign in to win, right? If you remember, Jason Abrams talked to us a couple of weeks ago about those 3 seasons, right? And we're moving into that winter of renewal season, right? The fall cleanup is kind of done. We've now got our databases to exactly where we need them to be. And so we're moving into the winter of renewal. The winter of renewal is ultimately about you connecting with that database to find opportunities, both for now and for the first 6 months of next year. And so we're going to help you do that by orchestrating an entire operation where we're going to purchase the 2 big prizes that we're going to point everybody towards. We're going to create all the collateral material for you and get that out to you so you can get it to your database. We're going to create a system that you just follow in terms of texts and emails and calls into that database. It's the most fun you'll have in October, I promise you. I know Halloween's in October. I know some of you really like Halloween, but it is the most fun you will have in October, connecting with your database in such a way that they're excited to be talking to you. We'll push the whole sign in to win thing. So people who are actually interested in speaking to you are raising their hand saying, hey, give me a call. Even for those of you who are a little fearful of dialing into your database, this is going to help you with that, because people are raising their hand saying, hey, I want to win this prize. Please call me and talk real estate for a smidge, because that's a part of the entry process, right? We're going to get you all the details on that later this week. There'll be a session or 2 that we push out. Watch for more information later today into tomorrow on that. We're just getting all the details finalized, but we're really excited to be able to do that and model for you exactly how these things go, so that if you choose to start doing them quarterly, you can do your own version of them inside of your own database starting in January. So there we have the announcements. My goodness, lots of cool things happening, huh? And that's over and above the fact that it's Masterminds week. Right. So today at 1 o'clock, we have the Capper Mastermind. Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we have the All Agent Business Mastermind. And Thursday at 1 o'clock, we have the Rainmaker Mastermind, which I think will still go on as planned, even though we have the Gary and Mo 100X thing. I'm still weighing the pros and cons of that. So watch for an update. So plug into Masterminds, plug into these great opportunities. Get out of your zip code, stay in your zip code, then get out of your zip code and get back in to make sure you're really broadening your horizons and stretching your perspective. Perspective. So let me talk just a little bit with you in the next 3 or 4 minutes about perspective. I was called on my perspective a couple of weeks ago by my coach. I was having a conversation. She mentioned something that was going on nationally. And I made a comment about not understanding why market center operators, some market center operators were resistant to something that Gary was talking about doing kind of nationally as a whole team. And I was, in all transparency, I was kind of judgmental about it. I don't understand why they would feel this way. Like what are you struggling against? Why are you so rooted in being contrary to something that seems so beneficial? And she stopped me and she said, well, Rick, I want you to take a little bit different perspective on that. You run really successful market centers. They're profitable, they're growing, they have great culture. They're all of these things. What about the operators who don't? What about the operators who are losing money right now? What about the operators who aren't growing? Do you think they might have a slightly different perspective about what Gary's putting on the table and how that might affect them differently than it affects you? And I have to tell you, she kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I thought, well, I guess I might feel a little bit differently if my circumstances were different. And she pushed me into this couple of week conversation in my own brain about one's perspective, right? And how important it is to remember that we each have a perspective. The reality of human beings is that one's perspective is oftentimes one's current reality. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't change your perspective or expand your perspective. I should really say expand one's perspective, right? To bring in other realities. But you really have to remember to go ahead and consider your own perspective. And so here's what I want to bring you today. I want to bring you my version of perspective. Which is not showing up on my screen. Hold on a second, I'll get there. Where is my perspective? There it is. So I want you to think about perspective like this beach ball, right? And the way, what I want you to remember is when you're standing on top of your red perspective, right, on the top of that beach ball, you can very clearly see everybody else in the red stripe, right? Because they're right there with you. You can also kind of look to the left and look to the right and kind of see the yellow and the green perspectives from where you stand, right? However, think about how difficult it is when you stand on the red perspective to see. Just a second.
To hang those heavy.
Think about how difficult it is when you stand on the red perspective to see the orange perspective. It's almost impossible when you're standing on the top of the red perspective to actually see the orange stripe, right? It's hard enough to see the edges of the white and the blue stripes. And yet that doesn't make the orange or the white or the blue perspectives any less real or any less valid. And so I just always love this visual about perspective to help us remember that there's lots of different ways to think about lots of different things. And as business owners and OPS as humans, right, we are called upon to always remember and consider the fact that there are other perspectives, even the ones that we can't quite see from where we are. Think about the next time you're having a conversation with somebody, right? Think about the next time you're having a conversation with perhaps a client who, let me get rid of my beach ball here, who has a slightly different perspective about a pricing strategy or about where the market is. Sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that the way to help people expand their perspective is by hammering them on top of the head with our own. I can tell you that rarely works, right? Especially with adults, right? Adults are stubborn. We're kind of rooted where we are. And so if you're trying to help someone expand their perspective, banging them over the head with your red stripe perspective when they're down on the orange stripe doesn't do anything except hurt your hand, hurt their head, and make everybody irritated. Instead, what I want you to consider is, what if we just started to ask each other better questions to help expand not just the perspective of the person that you're talking to, but your own, right? Look in the mirror and figure out, how can I expand my own perspective to start to see theirs? It's not about right or wrong. It's not about valid or invalid. It's about expanding one's understanding of not just your own perspective, but someone else's, right? Go back to that tool that we have of really understanding people at a deeper level by asking great questions. I'm curious, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how is it that you came to that conclusion? I'm curious, how does your current reality affect that decision, right? I'm curious. When you stay in curiosity and ask great questions, it allows you to expand your own perspective and you help others expand their perspective. I have a thought that the world would be a far easier place to live in terms of just having people get along, if we all recognized that perspective and the uniqueness of each one's perspective and the opportunity to always expand your perspective would be pushed front and center, instead of planting your flag on one stripe on the beach ball and deciding to marry that one stripe and not look at anything else. Guys, that's my thought on perspective this morning. I hope it's helpful to you as you head into an awesome week. Ask great questions. Remember, your perspective is not right or wrong, and neither is the person you're speaking to. It's always about helping people expand into bigger perspective than it is about changing someone's mind. Have a great day. Have a great week. Do great business. Call if you need me. Love you guys. See you soon.